I think that for Kenya, green jobs will remain a huge opportunity despite the current discourse when it comes to the US and multilateral funding.
Green jobs are really here, and they are here to stay, and they are the future. So hopefully that you're convinced enough to be able to see a future for yourself in a green job.
What are the opportunities that are always there? What is the gap? How then can I position myself to fill the gap?
I'd like to hear, because you're in the world, what opportunities that these young people can connect to as green entrepreneurs.
There's a lot of financing that's going now to support startups. UNDP, for instance, has Youth for Climate, and it's a challenge fund that is always running every year that gives startup capital to entrepreneurs who have really good ideas. There are so many like this I see every day coming up. So one of the things I always say, ask yourself, what's the key word in your idea? So if it's agribusiness, or it's green industrialization, transport, if it's any other sector, know your keyword. And then, truthfully speaking, the internet is a huge resource. These funds are always being announced. I'm on LinkedIn at least twice a day, and every time I swap through my LinkedIn, I'm finding, if you're an innovator, we have this innovator fund, or we have this incubation facility. So the most important thing is to be switched on so that you're in the radar of this type of funds. So if you're not on LinkedIn, highly encourage that you join LinkedIn and don't have a dormant account. Try and have an active account. I have had people who've reached out to me on inbox, said, Yvonne, what is UNDP doing? And imagine this information, many people, it's for free. It's actually to our benefit when more people apply. So that's one. So I know University of Nairobi has an incubation facility and several other agencies. One of the things I try and do when I'm doing resource mobilization, which I think an entrepreneur is also doing, is I try write a list of funds. So I know, for instance, this year there'll be a fund by UK Pact, there'll be a fund by Biodiversity Fund, there'll be a fund by a philanthropy fund. I know them, I know their deadlines, and I pay attention to what they're looking for. That's what I have to do as a daily, because I'm in resource mobilization. It's the same for an entrepreneur. Ask yourself, what are the top 10 incubation facilities that give financing to entrepreneurs? What are they looking for? Start paying attention to that. Put that into your pitch. Because there's no one who will give money to someone who doesn't have a good pitch. You have to have your good pitch deck. Once you have your pitch deck, the other thing, as Manda said, is really the world favors the bold. You have to knock on doors. You have to attend sessions like this where information is given for free. You have to be able to network and attend networking events. One of the things I've observed that many people don't know is young people get more attention than professionals who've been in the field for longer. Do you know that? If me and you go somewhere, you're likely to be listened to a bit more than myself. Why? People want to fund someone who's starting off. They actually really do. I know it for myself because the inboxes I get, sometimes I respond faster to someone who tells me I'm in university studying XXX. I really feel compelled to pull that person. However, when I go as a professional, I'm like, I've been in climate finance. It takes a bit longer because, I don't know, it's human nature, I guess. But people really do want to support young people. I can tell you for a fact, in the UN family, we are always being asked, have you put something for the youth? Have you been able to invite a young person? It's a current wave. I think it has been there for long, and I think that's why Professor Judy opened her doors for me. So young people looking to start enterprises, imagine, be bold. The world is actually for you, not against you. You just have to have a really good idea, bridge that knowledge gap, position yourself well, and be bold.
Awesome. Just to also mention that if you are in this room and you want to have an ear and an eye out to what's going on in this world, this climate space, you can follow, I think, the QR code. We can switch the slide to Jacob's Data Africa's pages. And we have a WhatsApp community as well. So you can join that community. We post RFPs, we post grants, we post fund opportunities, networking sessions, events, just the different things that are happening. And then it's a group where young people can share ideas, peer-to-peer learning. So it's really important to be found in those spaces. So feel free to follow us and write to us so that you can join that WhatsApp community. Lastly, Yvonne, before I go to the audience to ask their question, is where is Yvonne going from here?
Where am I going? Home.
Good question. Good answer to her.
Where do I want to go from here? I want to continue to do my work in the development space. I feel like in my career I've grown to the point where I'm offering a lot of strategic advisory. And I find that to be very influential because I end up meeting a lot of decision makers. And we dream together. We dream together and we're able to, build programs that are able to be transformational, reaching out to the most left behind. And I think that's impactful. I love policy. And if one day God grants me the grace, I hope to continue to be in the climate policy space, influencing the decisions we are making as a country, because I really do believe we have not scratched the surface when it comes to what we can do with the resources we have at our disposal. Has any of you been to Iten? Iten? Is there anyone from Iten? Have you driven there? Anyone? It's the most beautiful place, right? Think about all the tourism opportunities to Iten. We've not scratched the surface, and it's ecotourism. It's right there. Why don't we have cable cars in Kenya riding over Iten? Why isn't that a thing? We are so excited with the zip line here at the forest, right? And now everyone in COVID became a mountain climber. Everyone was going to, I never even knew Elephant Hill, I don't know, Sleeping Warrior. We have such a beautiful country. We have immense amount of land that is being washed away with the rains. Means that we are losing our agricultural productivity. Yet Moi, in his time, was promoting, I always used to, I can't say this word properly, so excuse me if I pronounce it wrong, momonyoko wa udongo. You remember that? Were any of you old enough to know that thing? Where we were building gabions all over the country to avoid soil erosion. We've lost the basics. We've actually retracted in so many things. So I think there's so much work to be done, and I pray that I continue to be an influence in that type of space, because I think it's the little things that matter, and I think policy is a catalyst to development, and I want to continue to be in the policy space.
Wishing you all the best with that. And yeah, no, it's fine, absolutely fine. It's your answer, it's valid. And I feel you on the potential that Kenya and Africa has. And I do hope and pray that those who are watching, those who are in this room, yourself, myself included, we become a part of the solution that this continent and this country so desperately needs. Thank you. I'd just like to give 2 questions to the floor.
First and foremost, thank you for sharing your story. It was so commendable. I'm asking on behalf of my organization, do you have an interest, or are you supporting carbon credits type of projects? If yes, are you in a position to partner with other organizations? Because within the coastal counties like Kwale and Lamu, we have an advantage of doing these particular projects in those particular counties. So are you willing to partner with organizations like us to do some stuff?
Quick answer is yes. UNDP is one of the largest organizations when it comes to carbon markets, so we've been there developing the markets. As we speak, actually we are getting an overwhelming response because we had an expression of interest call for those who have project ideas, and it's because we'll finance the idea to develop it into a full carbon project. And we support you in identifying, actually we have buyers who are ready to buy the carbon. So this is something that we do. We will be doing it also because we are interested in attracting biodiversity financing. And as you know, carbon projects are in biodiversity hotspots. And so, yes, the quick answer is yes. And we are open to receiving these ideas. We are currently, if you can write an idea very fast, we close tomorrow. So if you can submit, it might be considered.
Good afternoon. My name is Duncan Bandari. A finalist at the Department of Civil and Construction Engineering at University of Nairobi. So my question is, how did you get your job at UNDP? I didn't quite catch that, because there are these stories online and especially on X. I saw someone post a job opportunity with a link in some UN organization. Then on the comments, people were kind of, bashing them or discouraging people from applying, saying that these links are being posted just as a formality, and like people are pre-selected, then the link is shared as a formality so that it is a mechanic. They didn't share a link for people to apply. Yeah.
What can I say? It's a reputation. No, I started in the Ministry of Environment, like I mentioned to you, and I used to work in UNDP programs. As a result, I really got to understand the UN lingo, the UN processes, the UN insider stuff. And so when an opportunity came at UN, now to join UNDP itself, I was able to apply and I got the job. Does that happen a lot? Yes. Imagine people get hired blindly in the UN. It has a reputation of being a godfather institution, and people imagine that, yeah, there's always someone who's pre-selected. But imagine if you have the skills, if you do have the skills and you're able to package yourself well, then you actually get what is called shortlisted. I'll give you a tip. In the UN, they have required. You've seen that in an advert. So if you go look at a UN job advert now, and there are different types of advert. There's for UN volunteer, there's for consultants, there's for ETC. When you find that they've written something is required, then you want to make sure you highlight that, because there's a sifting that happens in the long list, and they check, do you have that minimum requirement, as is with many jobs. Yeah, so whatever is highlighted as required, please make sure you've put loudly in your CV. It's the language of the CV. However, UN has many pathways to join. One of them, for yourself who's finishing university, you could consider setting up a profile in what we call UN volunteers. I carried the book here because I knew it will come up. UN volunteers has been a very big pathway to getting into the UN, because one, you get to understand how the UN works, what are their systems, etc, etc, etc. So highly encourage that for yourself. Go and check, for instance, UNOPS, where they have a lot of civil and structural engineers. They do a lot of project management, and then see what are the opportunities that they have. Start noting those down as skills that you want to amplify, and then try your luck. But the UN is not the only employer. I have to also let you know. It really is not the only employer. I can tell you we are so lean. My team, we are 4 for climate change. And I manage a $31 million portfolio. $31 million times 129 is how much? So we work a lot with organizations like Red Cross, WWF, CSOs, etc. So the UN is not the only employer, but it will employ you.
I just want to also just piggyback on that and say that you can actually start where you are and begin to make an impact where you are, that even the UN takes notice of you. What I mean is, if you are faithful with what you're doing right now and become really good at it, you will be hunted out, people will know you, your profile will grow, your network will grow, and pretty soon these opportunities will come to you instead of really trying to hunt them out. And not to say that, you know, you can't go and decide to want to apply, but start with where you are and believe that, you know, if you're faithful in that, just as, you know, Yvonne, you started with the Ministry of Environment and working on UNDP projects, eventually ended up at the UNDP. So that's another pathway to consider. I want to just take this, quite a number of questions on Slido. So in honor of people on Slido, one question, and then we'll really have to call it a day because we are way over time. Is that okay? Okay, I think I'm talking to myself. Is that okay? Great. I love people who talk back. So, do you believe the carbon credit system in Kenya is sustainable?
I believe that the carbon credit system is sustainable. That's a complex question. Do I think that carbon credits are able to shift capital to reward those who do good for the environment? I really do. And I think that's what carbon credits are designed to be. They're supposed to be a reward system for those who are taking care of the environment. Do I think it's sustainable? I think if we build the market, it will be. The carbon credit space is one that is not well understood. We hear a lot of the bad publicity. Yeah? Or they've taken community land in area X, or they've given these people 5 shillings when they were making $10 a ton. You know, it's very complex to understand. If I try break it down, is carbon becomes an asset, like your car. Okay, your car is considered a liability, but it's, let me say it becomes like this chair. I'm willing to sell this to you if you want it, right? Because you have seen the value of sitting, right? And you want that to continue over time. So the economic incentive around carbon is very critical because there are people who are doing a lot and they're trading off from what they'd have been doing on the land, how they'd have been producing energy, and they've used resources to do that. They've built an asset base, and they need to be paid something for that asset base. So yes, I do believe carbon credits are a sustainable mechanism. I think we need to continue to incentivize. If you think about, for instance, Nairobi, there's someone in Aberdare forest who is not cutting a tree to ensure that we have water in Nairobi. True or false? That person, don't they need to be incentivized in one way or another? Yeah. And I think that's the incentive mechanism. So whether it's a carbon credit, whether it's a biodiversity credit, whether it's a payment for ecosystem services, I believe there needs to be a reward for those who are not destroying the environment so that nature can continue to provide a service to all of us. And that is for me, something that needs to be discussed and scaled in the country.
Awesome. I know we are out of time. I don't know where the organizers are, if I can catch one. I hear there are 2 burning questions. So can we take those 2 questions or do we stop now? We take the 2 questions? Okay.
First, can I say that I think you're really brilliant. I heard what you're doing as an engineer. I was like, my goodness, we need to package you and patent you. You're going to make a lot of money from your ideas.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think I want to keep it really, really short. First, I have some comments. Jacob Ladder really holds a special place in my heart because that's the first, very, very first seminar I attended when I had my foot in the e-mobility. And I remember it was in Westlands. I can't remember really the hotel. So it really holds a special place in my heart. So I'm really grateful. You are my usher when I came there. Thank you. It has been brilliant, and I have even no words to express how much grateful I am for how you have talked. I felt like the other sessions were really, really technical, but from what I've listened to you, you have really talked to my soul because being a 5th-year student, I'm almost finishing. I really have insecurities. I'm really afraid to enter into the job market because I'm like, am I going to get this? Am I not going to get? And it is really discouraging. I've not gotten a lot of no's in my career path, but have begun, so it is really, really scaring. And my question to you is, what are some of the career mistakes I should avoid during my early careers? What are those potholes? Because I feel we normally speak of success, but nobody normally talks to us about the potholes that we should look for, the mistakes that we should avoid. Thank you.
First, I told you you're brilliant. That's a really good question, and I think I'll journal on that today. But I have a number of things that I can say are career pitfalls. One was not having a clear vision of what I wanted at some point. So having your vision always ahead of you is very critical. Why? Because people will have all sorts of things for you. You'll finish. I can assure you, banks like engineers. Yeah? Banks like engineers because they're analytical, they're good with numbers. Is that what you want for yourself? If it is, imagine it's okay. But have a clear vision so that you don't. But what are the pitfalls that I personally went through? One, don't be swayed by fear. Yeah, it's that thing that's always there. But imagine your strength is in believing in you, yourself. And never be impatient with the path. Imagine I look back now and remember Yardstick and how we used to knock at doors. You know, I used to wonder now, what is this? I'm going to knock on a door to beg for money. Like, what's that? But that resource mobilization skill I learned in campus has helped me so much now in stakeholder engagement, being bold and knocking on doors. So never allow fear to overwhelm you. It does. It does. Then you guys, I really feel for this generation, it is a pressure-filled generation. Why? I can dance on TikTok and make a lot of money very fast. Even me, I feel the pressure. I used to be in school with Just Ivy and Kashiki. You know those guys for over 25? And I'm always like, maybe I should have become a influencer. But you have to trust your path is yours. And I really think for you, like you've said, immobility is something that's clearly close to your heart. So if I can use you as an example, keep staying in that space. Don't allow yourself to leave those spaces. Why? You meet the professionals. Every year someone is retiring. Every year someone is moving. Yeah? So stay there. Stay there. Don't move. Stay in those spaces. Keep learning the language of immobility. Keep knowing what is Kenya planning. Because the moment you move yourself from that space, you lose a path to information. Yeah? So keep doing that. A pitfall I also had is around masters. My master's program. When I finished campus, I wasn't the top student in industrial chemistry. And I remember when we graduated, I was offered a scholarship by 3 professors. One told me, go do your PhD immediately. Another one told me, go do your master's in Netherlands to do water engineering. And another one told me Taiwan. I never took any of those scholarships. And every day I ask myself, I should have taken these scholarships. I should have taken, because 2 of the people, because now me, I'm those kihereheres. So I told someone, so you go take this, because me, I'm not interested. Those people are now PhDs. Do you know what it is to be called doctor? Dr. Nyokabi. You guys would have been over here looking at me differently, Cindy. But I did my master's in public policy. And for me, I look back and I'm like, imagine that was a good career move. And I did it during COVID, which is 2020. I graduated 2010. You see? So it's okay also not to be under pressure to do things the way someone else sees for you. If you're not feeling sure-footed to do a master's now, imagine, don't rush. It's okay to start a job, even an internship. Why? Because then you start to see how the world works, what are the gaps, so you can even know what I want to study. Do you know there are many people who do PhDs who have a hard time coming into the workplace because they can't find a match? You've seen that. So don't feel pressure when it comes to academia. But if you feel yourself that that is what you need, imagine, go for it and have no regrets. But please, I won't say it. It will be controversial and then I'll find myself on Twitter. So follow you. Imagine you have inside you intuition that tells you this is the path, go ye in it.
Thank you so much, Yvonne, for this beautiful conversation. Was it helpful? Yes. Great. Follow us, Jacob's Data Africa, on all our platforms. This is just the beginning of many episodes that you will see. If you want to watch this episode, for those who are here in the audience, it will go up soon on our pages, so follow and keep tabs on that. But thank you so much for taking time to watch, for those who've watched, for those who've sat through this session. And I do hope it was impactful and beneficial and transformational for each one of you. Yvonne, thank you so much. I look forward to having a conversation soon on, where you will be and what that looks like. But thank you for, giving your time, and wishing you all the best as you transform this nation.